So I want to talk about power and power dynamics in academia at this point. We've all experienced it. Everybody that's in the academic game completely understands what I'm talking about. There's actually a really formal definition of power, and that is the ability to get people to do other things that they don't want to do. And power structures are very much built within the academic structure, right? Like if you are, you have to defer to other people. It's called status. That is, if you're a PhD student, you normally defer to, professors because of the sort of political position that they're in. There's lots of power structures that happen. And I just want to talk about that today. I want to really be open with this. And how do you actually deal with this kind of stuff? And a lot of videos might talk about, that this is awful and all that kind of stuff. And I would agree that this is awful, but I also want you to feel empowered at the end of this video that you can go and just do whatever the hell that you want to do. And I think that that's an important thing to think about is, am I going to let the power structures that are there dictate where I'm going to go? And that's where I really want you to sort of emphasize and think about is I've got a tremendous amount of power, right? So when you come into a situation, right? So whether you're a PhD student, whether you are a professor, it doesn't matter whether you're a dean, it doesn't matter, right? You might be thinking that you don't have a lot of power, but the power comes in that you can walk away from the situation, and we're all extremely talented. You don't have to accept anything that you don't want to do, right? And I think that's where you have to think about, like, I can walk away. If I'm a PhD student and I feel powerless, well, hell, I'm a pretty darn good, talented person to actually become a PhD student. Or even when you're applying and you're not getting anywhere, and you're like, well, hell, I could do this. I'm doing really good. I can walk away and I could do something different. Or I can train up and do something that I will just prove to everybody else that I am so much better than everybody else is there. And I think once you understand that all of this, the sort of power structure stuff, is just a bunch of baloney, you really start becoming a much more whole of a person, right? And you start thinking like, crap, I can actually do this, right? So when I started, I want to sort of, tell a story about, if you look at all of my old videos on the whole reciprocity project, is I tackle a lot of really tough things, right? And I'm really trying to open up, it's called opening up the Komodo, right? Like open it up so that we can have open and honest conversations about this. This takes a lot of willpower. I'm sort of going up against a lot of difficult topics and difficult things. But, if we are open about this, right? And if you just walk in, you're like, well, I could do this. I can stand up and talk about different things. Then I have a lot of power in this circumstance. Or, you know what, if you get a lot of flack, or you get a lot of, not so nice behavior, use that as a signal of like, hey, I need to find different things. I need to find my community. I need to build up and find where I'm supposed to go. Like if you get all of those signals where it's not feeling good, that is a good sign that you are probably doing things that are actually right, but you just have to find the right community, whatever that particular community is, right? I am a strong believer of that you get a sense of how accepting people are just by them interacting with you, and then use as a signal of like, okay, I'm not going to deal with that person again. I'm going to go find something else. I'm going to find the coalition that I'm building and be part of that coalition. And I think if we cannot be open, honest, if we can't be who we are, if we can't do any of those kind of things, then we need to find a different community. And I think all of those things, I can walk into any room, I should feel empowered, I should feel like I'm okay. Yes, I might get challenged with difficult questions. That's to be expected. But, you should be able to walk into any particular situation and feel okay with who you are as a person, and with everybody else that's there. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody is going to agree with you and you're not going to get tough questions, all that kind of stuff. But you should definitely feel that you are empowered. And I think that's our job as, the broader community, the broader of sort of academia is to feel empowered, to get people to do things that are challenging. That's what we do. We go into really weird and awkward spots that people would not do and that are very uncomfortable to talk about. And I think we all should feel empowered, right? I think that's the key thing, is to go into situations where you do feel empowered, right? But I'm going to also say, though, that the sort of power structures that exist, right, they are going to make you feel not great. And that's going to happen repeatedly. And I think you need to have outlets, whatever those particular things are, that allow you to detach, disassociate, really know that you could be yourself, whatever that might be, right? And find those particular things, right? If you like knitting, take up knitting. If you like to, go to movies and, not be ashamed with any of those kind of things. And that's a struggle that we all deal with and we all balance, right? Even the most senior professors, the most senior deans that you've ever met, they all struggle with this kind of stuff of being like, okay. I'm going to step up and I'm going to do this. And this is my free time. This is my thing, right? And I want you to sort of really take this and really think about it. Your power is something that you possess, right? And if you let other people take that power away from you, right, then they are ultimately, they're losing because it's another voice. It's not part of the community, but you are letting somebody actually take that away from you. Right. And how do you let somebody take that away from you? You are imagining yourself as not your own hero in your story. You're really getting wrapped up into all of this kind of stuff. And you have to build that strength around you and say, what I'm doing is damn important. And what I'm doing is it's the cat's meows, the bee's knees, right? Like all of that kind of stuff. And I need to step up and actually do those things because I am an independent thinker. And we need more of those kind of people around, right? So don't let the power structures that exist push you around, is what I'm saying. I had this a really great mentor in my life, and he used to always say that the theory is pushing you around. And it's true, right? Like you're losing your voice, you're losing what you're doing. That theory is actually sort of reflecting the power structures that actually exist, right? And you just have to have that voice. You stand up. You say, I'm going to do this. You take that big gulp and you square your shoulders and you get out there and you actually do that thing. And you just do that repeatedly. And if you look like a mess, the other thing I want you to sort of really take a step back and say, we're all a giant friggin' mess. I hope you realize that, right? Like even those people that sort of walk around that think that they have their crap together, they're only projecting their insecurities onto you, right? Like if they were actually people that you can trust, you're not going to feel that way around them. If they didn't have those insecurities, you're not going to feel that way around them. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel open, right? So they're projecting all this weird craziness onto you because they themselves have all of this turmoil that's going on inside, right? And so you have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, why am I scared of any of this stuff? Why would I care, right? And I can be the person that I want to be, and I could do some really wonderful, exciting things if I just step up and I start pursuing this. And I just be myself. And I am okay with who I am, right? And I want you to take that going forward, is to be your own hero. This really does work out. And where you think about, okay, there's this character I want to sort of project and I want to sort of do. What does that character look like? Who is that character going to be? And you build that character over time. And as you do that, you become a better, more empowered person, and you don't worry about all the damn power structures that exist. That's nonsense stuff anyways. Come on. Really? You're an amazing person. You are talented. You've got all this crap going for you. And the reason why I know this, not everybody can do this kind of stuff. And it's really hard to do these things, right? And so you need to, and that goes for a lot of things in life, right? And you need to take a step back and realize that you are truly an amazing human being. And you just need to take a step back and know that you could do this. You just get up and you say, hey, these power games and power structures and all this kind of stuff, that's nonsense. I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm going to be confident, and I'm going to walk forward and say, hey, here I am. I'm okay. And everybody else is a giant mess, just like me, but that's okay as well. And then you'll be able to speak up. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.